According to the National Electrical Code, NEC, in Class 1, Division 2 locations, you are required to provide a seal-off at the end of the conduit, even if the conduit is encased underground and exits the top of a concrete pole base to enter the bottom of a light pole. The NEC mandates that all openings where conduits or cables enter or exit an enclosure or raceway in Class 1, Division 2 locations must be sealed with an approved seal-off. This requirement is in place to prevent the passage of hazardous gases or vapors into or out of the enclosure or raceway. In the scenario presented, the light pole is considered an enclosure, and the conduit provides a potential pathway for hazardous gases or vapors to enter this enclosure. Therefore, even with the conduit being encased underground and exiting the concrete pole base, the NEC still requires a seal-off at the point where the conduit enters the light pole. The specific type of seal-off needed depends on the particular NEC requirements for Class 1, Division 2 locations. Generally, a listed and approved explosion-proof seal-off fitting or compound is necessary. Understanding the NEC requirements for hazardous locations is crucial to ensure safety and compliance. Class 1 locations are those where flammable gases or vapors are, or may be, present in the air in quantities sufficient to produce explosive or ignitable mixtures. These locations are further divided into divisions based on the likelihood of the presence of the flammable material. Division 1 locations are those where the hazardous material is present under normal operating conditions, while Division 2 locations are those where the hazardous material is not normally present but may become present through accidental release or abnormal operation. The NEC specifies detailed requirements for electrical equipment and wiring methods in these hazardous locations to minimize the risk of ignition. These requirements include the use of explosion-proof enclosures, intrinsically safe circuits, and other specialized equipment designed to prevent ignition of flammable materials. Seal-offs play a critical role in maintaining the integrity of these protective measures by preventing the migration of flammable gases or vapors through conduit systems. Firstly, it is essential to understand the classification of the area where the light pole is being installed. The determination that it is a Class 1, Division 2 location means there is a risk of flammable gases or vapors being present under abnormal conditions such as leaks or spills. Secondly, consider the specific NEC articles that govern wiring in hazardous locations. Article 500 and subsequent articles in the NEC provide detailed requirements for equipment and wiring in Class 1, Division 2 locations. These articles specify the types of equipment that are permitted, the wiring methods that must be used, and the installation requirements that must be followed. Thirdly, examine the requirements for seal-offs in Class 1, Division 2 locations. The NEC requires seal-offs to be installed in conduit systems to prevent the passage of gases, vapors, or flames from one portion of the electrical system to another. This is typically accomplished by installing a sealing fitting in the conduit and packing it with a sealing compound approved for use in hazardous locations. Fourthly, identify the appropriate type of seal-off fitting for the application. The NEC recognizes several different types of seal-off fittings, including those designed for vertical and horizontal conduit runs, as well as those designed for use with specific types of equipment. The selection of the appropriate seal-off fitting will depend on the specific installation conditions and the type of equipment being used. Fifthly, ensure that the seal-off fitting is installed correctly. The NEC specifies detailed requirements for the installation of seal-off fittings, including the minimum distance from the fitting to the nearest enclosure, the type of sealing compound that must be used, and the procedure for packing the fitting with the sealing compound. It is important to follow these requirements carefully to ensure that the seal-off fitting will effectively prevent the passage of gases, vapors, or flames. Sixthly, verify that the seal-off fitting is properly maintained. Seal-off fittings should be inspected periodically to ensure that they are free from damage and that the sealing compound is in good condition. If the sealing compound is cracked, deteriorated, or otherwise damaged, it should be replaced immediately. Seventhly, document the installation and maintenance of the seal-off fitting. It is important to keep accurate records of the installation and maintenance of seal-off fittings, including the date of installation, the type of fitting used, the type of sealing compound used, and the results of any inspections or maintenance activities. This documentation can be helpful in demonstrating compliance with the NEC and in troubleshooting any problems that may arise. The NEC requires that all seal-offs be readily accessible. This means that they must be able to be inspected, maintained, and replaced without requiring the removal of permanent parts of the building structure or finish. The purpose of this requirement is to ensure that seal-offs can be properly maintained and repaired as needed. Seal-offs are typically installed close to the equipment they are protecting. The NEC specifies the maximum distance allowed between a seal-off and the enclosure it serves. This distance is typically 18 inches or less, depending on the specific application. The purpose of this requirement is to minimize the amount of conduit that is exposed to the hazardous atmosphere. Seal-offs must be suitable for the class and division of the hazardous location in which they are installed. This means that they must be designed and tested to prevent the passage of flammable gases or vapors under the most severe conditions that are likely to be encountered in that location. Seal-offs are typically constructed of metal, such as steel or aluminum, and are filled with a sealing compound that is resistant to the effects of the hazardous atmosphere. The sealing compound must be compatible with the type of flammable gas or vapor that is present in the location. Seal-offs must be properly installed in order to be effective. This means that they must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and the requirements of the NEC. The sealing compound must be properly mixed and applied, and the seal-off must be tightened to the proper torque. The integrity of a seal-off can be compromised by a number of factors, including physical damage, corrosion, and improper installation. It is important to inspect seal-offs regularly to ensure that they are in good condition and are functioning properly. If a seal-off is found to be damaged or improperly installed, it should be repaired or replaced immediately. Seal-offs play a critical role in protecting electrical equipment in hazardous locations. By preventing the passage of flammable gases or vapors, they help to reduce the risk of explosion and fire. It is important to understand the requirements for seal-offs and to ensure that they are properly installed and maintained. In summary, the installation of a seal-off at the end of the conduit entering the light pole is a critical safety measure required by the NEC in Class 1, Division 2 locations. The purpose of the seal-off is to prevent the migration of flammable gases or vapors through the conduit system, thereby reducing the risk of explosion or fire. The specific type of seal-off required will depend on the installation conditions and the type of equipment being used, but it must be listed and approved for use in hazardous locations. Proper installation and maintenance of seal-offs are essential to ensure their effectiveness. Let's delve deeper into the practical aspects of selecting and installing seal-offs in Class 1, Division 2 locations, drawing upon the NEC requirements and industry best practices. Consider the environment. The type of hazardous material present, its concentration, and the ambient temperature are all factors that influence the selection of a seal-off. For example, if the atmosphere contains corrosive substances, a seal-off with enhanced corrosion resistance should be chosen. Consult the manufacturer's specifications to ensure compatibility. Select the right type of seal-off. There are several types of seal-offs available, each designed for specific applications. These include vertical seal-offs, horizontal seal-offs, and universal seal-offs. Vertical seal-offs are typically used in vertical conduit runs to prevent the downward migration of liquids or gases. Horizontal seal-offs are used in horizontal conduit runs to prevent the horizontal migration of liquids or gases. Universal seal-offs can be used in both vertical and horizontal conduit runs. Verify the seal-off's rating. The seal-off must be rated for the specific class and division of the hazardous location in which it will be installed. This rating indicates the seal-off's ability to contain explosions and prevent the propagation of flames. Ensure that the seal-off is listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories, ALL, or Canadian Standards Association, CSA. Prepare the conduit and seal-off fitting. Before installing the seal-off, ensure that the conduit ends are clean, free of burrs, and properly reamed. This will ensure a tight and secure connection. Inspect the seal-off fitting for any damage or defects. If any are found, do not use the fitting. Assemble the seal-off fitting. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for assembling the seal-off fitting. Typically, this involves threading the fitting onto the conduit and tightening it securely. Ensure that all components of the fitting are properly aligned and seated. Prepare the sealing compound. Use a two-part epoxy sealing compound that is specifically designed for use in hazardous locations. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for mixing the compound. Be sure to mix the compound thoroughly to ensure that it cures properly. Pack the seal-off fitting with sealing compound. Carefully pack the seal-off fitting with the mixed sealing compound. Use a non-sparking tool to pack the compound tightly into the fitting, ensuring that all voids are filled. The compound should be level with the top of the fitting. Allow the sealing compound to cure. Allow the sealing compound to cure completely before energizing the electrical system. The curing time will vary depending on the type of sealing compound used and the ambient temperature. Consult the manufacturer's instructions for the recommended curing time. Inspect the seal-off installation. After the sealing compound has cured, inspect the seal-off installation to ensure that it is properly installed and that the sealing compound is in good condition. Check for any cracks, voids, or other defects in the sealing compound. If any are found, the seal-off should be repaired or replaced. Document the installation. Keep a record of the seal-off installation, including the date of installation, the type of seal-off fitting used, the type of sealing compound used, and the results of the inspection. This documentation can be helpful for future maintenance and troubleshooting. In addition to these practical aspects, it's important to be aware of some common mistakes that can occur during seal-off installation. Firstly, using the wrong type of sealing compound. It's essential to use a sealing compound that is specifically designed for use in hazardous locations and that is compatible with the type of hazardous material present. Secondly, not mixing the sealing compound properly. Improper mixing can result in a weak or ineffective seal. Follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully when mixing the sealing compound. Thirdly, not packing the seal-off fitting tightly enough. Insufficient packing can leave voids in the sealing compound, which can compromise the seal. Use a non-sparking tool to pack the compound tightly into the fitting. Fourthly, energizing the electrical system before the sealing compound has cured. This can cause the sealing compound to crack or crumble, which can compromise the seal. Allow the sealing compound to cure completely before energizing the system. Fifthly, neglecting to inspect the seal-off installation. Regular inspections are essential to ensure that the seal-off is in good condition and is functioning properly. Inspect the seal-off for any cracks, voids, or other defects in the sealing compound. By following these guidelines and avoiding common mistakes, you can ensure that your seal-off installations are safe, effective, and compliant with the NEC. Furthermore, consider the specific requirements outlined in NEC Article 501.15, which addresses sealing and drainage in Class 1, Division 2 locations. This section provides detailed guidance on the placement of seal-offs, the types of fittings and compounds that are permitted, and the procedures for installation. Pay close attention to the requirements for seal-offs located at the point where a conduit enters or leaves a hazardous location. The NEC mandates that these seal-offs be installed as close as practicable to the point of entry or exit, but in no case more than 18 inches from such point. This requirement is intended to minimize the amount of conduit that is exposed to the hazardous atmosphere. Additionally, be aware of the requirements for seal-offs installed in conduit runs that contain splices, taps, or other connections. The NEC requires that these seal-offs be installed in such a manner as to prevent the passage of gases, vapors, or flames through the conduit system. This may require the use of multiple seal-offs or the installation of a special type of seal-off fitting. It's also important to consider the impact of temperature changes on the performance of seal-offs. Extreme temperature fluctuations can cause the sealing compound to expand and contract, which can lead to cracks or voids in the seal. To mitigate this risk, choose a sealing compound that is resistant to temperature changes and that is installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Finally, remember that seal-off installation should be inspected regularly as part of a comprehensive electrical safety program. These inspections should be conducted by qualified personnel who are familiar with the requirements of the NEC and who have the necessary training and experience to identify potential problems. Any deficiencies that are identified during these inspections should be corrected promptly to ensure the continued safety of the electrical system.